Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and layperson Lisa show. Take two.
Take two.
So the first take was I ran out of storage space on my phone. So I had to delete some old videos that we've uploaded to YouTube, but that's okay. So we had an exciting day today, 16 miles, and a lot of sun, a lot of rain. Well, not a lot of sun, a lot of rain, a little bit of sun, wind, on right away, off right away. We had the full Monty of experience today on the Camino.
Yes, we did.
So, Lisa, we've seen some slate roofs and some slate fences.
Yes.
Especially here in Galicia.
Yes.
What do you make of these?
Well, it made me. Well, I mistakenly thought that the slate roof was very heavy, and so it made me think of a story we forgot to tell you all a few weeks ago when Dunamis Debbie was walking down the Camino path. There was a cow that was walking alongside her on the other side of the fence, and it made us think of how we are yoked to Jesus, because it was like this cow and Debbie were, walking together, and how Jesus walks with us.
Let me help you.
Yes.
My burden is easy and my yoke is light.
Yes.
Or my yoke is light and my burden, I don't even know.
Wait, my burden? No, my yoke is
easy and my burden light. See, that's what
light.
I get for helping out.
I know, yes. And so the yoke is, it's for like farm animals. So it's like around one animal, and then it connects and it's around the second animal. So they're they're walk.
So in this example, we're farm animals.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And well, we're goat and sheep too, and parables sometimes, right?
Okay.
And so this weight of this roof made me think of that, because sometimes we try to handle things ourselves and allow the weight of a situation or whatever we're going through weigh us down, where Jesus wants us to invite him to walk with us, to allow him to enter into the situation and to allow ourselves to be yoked to him, so that his yoke is easy and burden is light.
I think more often than not, we all try to handle things on our own.
Yes.
And sometimes God is like, we treat God like a doc in the box, or like someone that we can pull off the shelf when we need him. And we're missing out on this idea that full reliance on God is in everything, of every aspect of our life, good, bad, whatever it is. There should be this total reliance on doing the will of the Father in everything that we do. Yet our tendency is to kind of drift away from that, Lisa, and to try to do things on our own. And we even do that with other people. I mean, we'll have people around us that can help us, and we'll make up reasons for why we don't want their help. We don't want to be a burden. We don't want to trouble them. But as we have discussed, I think in other podcasts, it's actually an opportunity for other people to express their gifts, and to share what they have.
Yes.
And so you're really not being a burden, because that's why God created us in community, right? So that we could help one another, because we are his hands and feet, as Colleen said last night. And that includes helping one another as well.
Well, it's easier for us to give than it is to receive a lot of the time.
It is, but I also really think that the best comes out of us and others when we allow ourselves to be helped.
Yes.
And we allow others to help.
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like, sometimes we're not hesitant about giving help, but we're hesitant about receiving help.
Right. But if everybody was going around and if everybody was hesitant about asking for help, then no one would ever be able to give help.
Yeah.
So there has to be a place in there where people are actually willing to open up and to be vulnerable, or to ask for help from other people when they need it. Now, it doesn't mean you want to take advantage of other people or do it to an extreme.
Right.
But I do believe that often we do view ourselves as a burden, which in and of itself could be a self-esteem issue. Okay, why would anybody else want to trouble themselves to help me? It could also be a pride issue, where we feel like we have to do everything on our own, so we're not going to help. So I could see it going from one extreme to the other, depending on the person and the situation.
Oh, sure. And I think also like self-reliance, right? I think our society kind of not emphasizes, but encourages like independence and self-reliance. And so I think that is also a factor that ties into that. But I was also thinking when you were speaking about how when we are attached to Jesus, then that's true freedom. So it goes into the whole yoke.
That's so funny because I was going to ask you to share what you read
Oh,
and listened about Jacques Philippe,
yeah.
because self-reliance is not
Right.
authentic freedom. St.
Right.
John Paul II said freedom is not doing what you want to do, it's doing what you ought to do.
Yes.
And the more we conform ourselves to the will of the Father, the more we understand what we ought to do. And the more we do what we ought to do, the more freedom we experience in a way that otherwise we may not have realized in the past. Because we live in, I think, this false sense of freedom that we have because we're getting to do what we want,
Yes.
or to
Yes.
live the way we want.
Right.
That's a very limited view of how to look at things.
Yes. Yes.
Right. We have to recognize that the fullness of who we are is in giving ourselves away.
Yes.
Right.
Being selfless.
Right. That's why, like any relationship, okay, is going to flourish if both people in that relationship are fully giving of themselves, right? Willing the good of the other for the other. And that is, the authentic definition of what love is. And God is love, right? And so when we're being selfless, we're really expressing God. We're being Pentecost, as I said yesterday, in a way that we were created to be. And this makes God really very happy when we do this. Mm-hmm. And so, we need to sometimes get off our high horses and or our pity horses, or whatever the case may be, for why we don't ask for help.
Yes.
Because there are plenty of reasons why we should ask for help, especially when we need it.
Speaking of asking for help, today we had to call our travel company and ask them to help us find this pickup point.
They didn't help.
They didn't help. They tried. They tried their best. But it was just, they were calling where we needed to be picked up a different name. And so it made it very hard and a little bit of a stressful situation.
And I think that's the crux of this whole lesson here, is that we did everything we could.
Yes.
It still didn't get us to where we were supposed to be.
Right.
But when we got there, we just got on the phone.
Yes.
We found a landmark.
Yep.
They said, hey, is there a landmark there? So we found a church, probably a quarter of a mile away, gave them the church name, and they came and picked us up in like less than 5 minutes.
Right.
And we were on our way.
Right.
So we saw a problem. We addressed the problem. It still didn't work out. And Lisa did a good job of not getting overly frustrated. On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your frustration, Lisa?
I wasn't frustrated more than.
Can you please just answer the question?
I think I was maybe a 4. I was more.
Not bad.
No, I was more concerned with getting the information so that we would know where to go. But then afterwards, when I was talking to the guy and he's like trying to tell me where it's at and everything, I was like, okay, well, I'll just call you back when we get there if we can't find it.
Yeah,
so that's what we did.
Yeah, because it was 1.5 miles to 2 miles away from the end of the route. The guy said it was 600 meters from the end of the route. It wasn't before we ended the route.
He said it was before we ended the route.
So he was like 2 miles off.
And unfortunately, it's like there are different travel. There's the U.S. travel company who contracts with the Spain travel company, and the U.S. company gives us the maps, and the Spain people can't see the maps, so they couldn't see where our actual endpoint was. Right. And so that was a little bit of a confusion.
But I will say this, Lisa. I think every person that's given us a transfer has been very flexible.
Yes.
They're flexible on the timing. Like we were supposed to get a pickup at 5, but we were done at 2:30 because we were jamming today.
Right.
And it's been great flexibility, and we've really been able to get people when we need them pretty much all the time. If you don't wait till the last second, if you give them an hour notice,
they're very good about accommodating.
Yeah, they can pretty much make it happen.
Yes.
And so I think in that regard, it's been a real blessing.
Oh, it has, absolutely.
To do that.
Yes.
But Lisa handled the frustration well. And I think we do. When we have difficult situations and we begin to get frustrated, we have to recognize that that's not a fruit of the Spirit.
Right.
Okay, so that's not what God is calling us to. And I recognize there are certain situations that could be stressful in life that may make this more difficult. But us getting stressed about it is not going to change anything.
Right.
It's only going to heighten and or maybe make it worse because we are stressed about it. We have to remain calm, recognize there's always options and that we're going to figure out a way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that's my message for that.
Yes.
Anything else, Lisa?
Well, I was noticing, so right when we began filming the podcast, it was pouring down rain. And then during the podcast, the sun came out. And that's pretty typical of our day today.
Pretty typical of our
Yes.
day.
Yes.
So, hey, we are praying for y'all. Please pray for us. And we will see you tomorrow.
Maybe does Dunamis Debbie or Camino Colleen have any words today?
Thank you for our prayers. Thank you for our prayers. We only have 4 more walking days before we make it to Santiago, and woo woo!
There we go.
Super excited to get there. Keep praying for us. Thanks.
I'm Deacon Dave.
My person Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.